Shadowgate. The name evokes a memory of failure, disappointment, and mental distress during my early years in gaming. The game was released for the NES in 1989 and developed by Kemco, but there was a previous version for the Mac released in 1987. It's a classic, macabre, point-and-click dungeon crawler shot in a static first-person perspective. The game takes its name from the castle Shadowgate, where the Warlock Lord is attempting to summon Behemoth from hell. As the last of the great line of kings, the wizard Lockmere has tasked you with slaying the Warlock Lord and thwarting his attempt to raise Behemoth. You have 9 main commands: look, open, use, leave, speak, hit, close, take, and of course we have move. Much of the game consists of using these commands for hoarding items, solving puzzles, and trying not to die a grisly death at the hands of the castle's denizens or the castle itself. These commands are generally self-explanatory, and if you don't want to, you really don't need to use the leave or close functions at all. The controls are extremely simple, if slightly fidgety for Nintendo's controller. The pointer on screen, a skeletal hand, is somewhat testy and requires a bit of a deft touch and some getting used to in order to accurately place it where it needs to be, but it's fairly easy to acclimate. Since the entire game occurs on the same mini-map, first-person view, item list, command console combination, there are some real limitations to variety in the gameplay, but the game itself remains immersive enough and difficult enough to keep the player engaged and interested, or frustrated and in tears. The most annoying part of the game, perhaps, is the torch feature. Apparently the entire castle is pitch dark inside. If your torch happens to go out, then you die. So you either have to keep a ridiculously close eye on the thing, or frantically run through your inventory cards to find one and use it before your dying torch goes out. This feature also acts as something of a time limit for the game, as there are a finite number of torches spread throughout the castle Shadowgate. In actuality, there are few things that won't kill you. Fall down a pit, you die. If you touch the goo, you die. Bad choice, you die. Thought that was a ladder, you die. If you played this game without some previous experience or a walkthrough, there's a very good possibility that you will die. As a matter of fact, I can pretty much guarantee that. On the plus side, most of the deaths that you will endure are from beginner traps, like the ladder to nowhere or the left turn into a granite slab. Those you'll only have to deal with one time. The more obnoxious traps, however, are the ones that require you to use specific items or spells to get past. My favorite is the bridge troll, vaguely reminiscent of the Norwegian fairy tale The Three Billy Goats Gruff. Your first attempt to cross the bridge is thwarted by the troll, demanding a gold coin to pass. You use the spear that you had better have picked up in the dragon's lair to avoid paying the troll and allow yourself safe passage. However, upon your second attempt, the troll returns with your spear in hand, demanding a gold coin once again. Regardless of whether you can provide the toll, the troll runs your own spear through your chest, killing you. The only means of passing at this point is a spell. The main goal of the game is to collect the 3 separated pieces of the Staff of Ages, which are the staff, the blade, and the orb. You must then reassemble them and use the resulting weapon to destroy Behemoth before the Warlock Lord can use his power to destroy the world. Oddly enough, and against all odds, the Warlock Lord has all 3 pieces stashed away in various parts of his castle, trusting his castle's defenses to bar your way to the items as well as his summoning chamber. Along the way, you'll have to deal with the riddles of a sphinx, the bridge troll, light-sensitive gargoyles, a dragon's flames, and flesh-dissolving goo, among other things. There are scrolls with clues about which items to use where, and spells that will help you along your way if you know what the hints are referring to. In addition, however, when you hit the start button, it will generate hints based on what room you happen to be in. Unfortunately, as you progress through the game, the start button hints get less and less useful until they degrade into positive affirmations of success. Once you finally reach your goal, the summoning chamber of the Warlock Lord, you find him already summoning the great beast Behemoth. If you don't have all 3 pieces of the Staff of Ages when you come to this point, you're pretty much screwed. However, if you do, then the only danger that you need to worry about is making sure that your torch stays lit while you attach first the blade, then the orb to the staff. After the Staff of Ages is complete, simply use it on Behemoth and send the beast screeching back to the depths of hell with the Warlock Lord in his grasp. After defeating the Warlock Lord, you return to the castle's Stormhaven, and kneeling before the king you are given a hero's welcome, the hand of the king's daughter, and a kingdom of your own to rule over. The final line of text, "The first story's end," alludes to the several other Shadowgate games that were released on other systems during the next decade or so. Given the game's delicate controls, the sheer volume of beginner traps, the number of items required to complete the game, and of course the amount of times that you're going to die during this game, I consider this to be one of the most frustrating games ever made for the NES. However, the sense of dread created by the dark and sinister atmosphere, enhanced by the decent soundtrack, make for a very playable and very entertaining game. At the end of the day, I'd have to say that this was and is one of my very favorite games ever released.